Is MVL facing some trouble in the Grunfeld? Stay tuned to find out. Hello, my name is William, and in this video we will be looking at the game Mamedyarov vs MVL in the Riga Grand Prix final. Going back to these two positions, Carlsen also played MVL a few weeks ago. Now, what do you notice about the position on the left and the right? White has the bishop pair. Black has a misplaced knight on a5, which is very difficult to get back into the game. White also has doubled f-pawns, and white has the potential to create a passed d-pawn. In the position on the right, that has already happened, and Carlsen's game from a few weeks ago, d5 was played, and this led to a victory. On the left will be the real game, on the right will be the analysis board. The game began d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, d5. MVL always playing the Grunfeld. c d5, knight d5, e4, take, and now we get a main line with bishop g7. Mamedyarov chose queen a4 check. There are some typical moves such as knight f3 and bishop e3, but in the game queen a4 check was chosen. In the game MVL played queen d7, but what else was possible? There are many ways to block this check. Let's have a look at c6 first. Knight f3, castle, bishop e2, and now c5. It looks like a move has been wasted, but the plan is to put the knight on c6 and pressurize the center. Castle b6. You can see the queen on a4 is useful. It does stop bishop a6 if black ever wanted the possibility to trade bishops. Bishop e3, and the game continues with queen c7, something like rook c1, bishop b7, and d5. Queen a3, castle, knight f3. Queen on a3 is so useful, it does stop c5. So b6, bishop e2, and you might even just move the bishop again. You could go back and then go back to b7. Knight d7 is a nice option. Knight f3, castle, bishop e2, and c5. However, in the game, MVL decided queen d7. Queen a3 was chosen. Queen a3 stops c5, and it's as if this black queen, it would be nice if it was back on d8. Because then the knight can come to d7 with ideas of going c5. But the queen is not so badly placed on d7. After castle, then the rook can come to d8. It's not so bad. The game continues b6, knight f3, bishop b7, bishop d3. After knight f3, the queen and bishop are useful. Bishop a6 has been stopped, even if black is planning to go bishop b7. Castle, castle, c5. In the game, c5 was chosen. And now bishop f4. This is a new move by white, catching MVL, making him think for 7 minutes. Here a few moves are possible. In the game he played c takes d4. Now let's take a look at the alternatives. Knight c6 makes sense. You're putting pressure in the center straight away, not capturing first. d5 looks forced, and after knight a5, there's a really cool move here beginning with rook e1, which looks a bit surprising. You might think rook d1. Now let's look at rook d1 first. What is the difference? If f5, trying to get counterplay, which is a really interesting move. If you take, black has the chance to give up the exchange. After take, bishop b3, bishop d5, black has compensation. The knight can come to c4. Bishop on d5 is a rock. e6, you can support the bishop. That's why here rook e1 is actually a nice move, because it does stop f5. in the sense that white now has the chance to go c4. If you take, you can go rook takes e4, defending the bishop on f4. The knight on a5 is out of play. Now what is the difference here with rook d1? If f5 c4, well, we can take, and the rook is attacking the bishop. So knight c6 was possible. Perhaps MVL didn't like this type of variation. Knight getting shut out here, c4, really the knight is alone on a5. e6 is another move, which makes sense. You are stopping d5, which proved to be a huge problem in the game. Perhaps MVL could play this move before committing knight c6. Rook d1, take, knight c6. Let's have a look at bishop d4, which just looks so risky. But if it does work out, he does bag a pawn. Knight d4, queen d4, and here queen e7 is a nice move. You could go bishop a6, which does lead to a variation winning the black queen. Let's just have a look. Take f3 is nice, and if queen there, rook c1, take, knight a6, queen e7. But if you want to play it in a different way, queen e7 straight away gives white a lot of compensation, attacking the bishop and ideas of coming onto a dark square. If you go queen d7, queen can come back to h4, and the dark squares look pretty weak around the black king. In the game, MVL chose cd4, and after cd4, knight c6, which was not the best continuation. There was this alternative of going bishop takes d4. This is different from the previous variation. There is no rook on d1. This may look risky, and perhaps MVL saw this variation, which leads to an endgame where he's slightly worse. After take, the queen on a3 is so useful. Let's take the e7 pawn. This bishop is hanging, but so is this. Things are coming off quickly. Queen takes d3, queen takes b7, and now knight d7, or knight a6. Not to worry, because the knight is still going to the same square after rook d1, knight c5, just in time. Take, and now cool move, beginning with rook a3, putting pressure on the queen side. This bishop could tuck back, it could stay on this diagonal. You could defend your e4 pawn with f3. Knight c5, f3. White has some pressure in this endgame. However, MVL did not play that. Knight c6 was chosen. And d5, this is the problem. Are you enjoying the video so far? Then why not like the video and subscribe to the channel at the same time. Plus hit that bell to get notified each time I release a new video. Back to the game. Knight a5. And the knight is looking like a very poor piece on the edge of the board. After d5, knight d4 was possible. Take. It makes sense to get rid of your worst knight for your opponent's better knight. Now, is there some pressure in the center from white? Rook d1. If you choose rook c8, you could go bishop e2. And if you go bishop c5, then the queen could swing to the king side. Ideas of h4, h5, bishop e5. Bishop g7 is probably better, but we see a problem. a7 now drops, because on the previous move, this bishop was defending the b6 pawn. After rook d1, maybe black decides, let's just put it back. And now you could put the rook to c1 instead. If rook c8, queen b4, and the game can continue. This position really does look like a lesser evil compared to the game. Maybe white has ideas of bishop b5, but the queen could just sidestep. It could just go back. There is pressure for sure, but This is a lot better than the game. Back to the game. d5, knight a5. And now rook c1. Rook c8, h3. A waiting move, asking black, now what do you do? White's position is so good, he can play a move like h3. e6 was played in the game, which gave Mamedyarov the chance to go d6. What else was possible after h3? Maybe f6 first was more accurate, because it does give black the chance to go e5 straight away. e5 here is not possible because pawn just falls. So f6 does prepare it. Bishop can voluntarily go back to d2. And then there's some pressure in this position. e6, trying to break it up. And the game goes on. Maybe we can take on c1 first. After rook c1, rook c8, trying to liquidate the pressure. The rooks all come off. Queen takes c8 is no good because e7 hangs. Bishop takes c8. Knight e5, queen d8, and now bishop b5, really coming into the position. Black's weakest square is the c6 square. e6 trying to break it up, but maybe it's a bit too late. Knight c6, and after take, we can take with the d pawn. The d now becomes a c pawn, it is passed, and this will prove to be a fawn in black's position. h3, e6, d6 chosen, and now MVL goes f6. e5, guaranteeing protecting the d6 pawn. White accepts double pawns, but it's worth it. After bishop takes f3, white plays e takes f6 and intermezzo. It is very important here not to play g takes because f takes e5 and black is doing well. E takes f6 is thrown in. After bishop takes f6, g takes f3, e5. e5 means the queen on d7 is attacking the h3 pawn. But h3 is not important. Bishop goes back to d2. White has the bishop pair. The knight on a5 is still out the game. And comparing this game to the Carlsen game 3 weeks ago, the position is looking very similar. MVL is facing some trouble in the Grunfeld. What happens if queen takes h3? Bishop e4 is looking very strong. Rook b8, rook c7. And white is taking over. A rook can go to c1. The a7 pawn is hanging. Bishop d5 check is possible. White can swing the queen back to d3. Queen e6, queen d3. With bishop d5, king h8. Rook c1, putting pressure on the c-file. If you dodge, then the queen can now come into the position with queen a6. Queen takes d6. I know this is a long variation, but it is worth it. Snap the knight off with queen a7. Pressure on the 7th rank. Queen e6. We can take, and then rook c6. And black is in big trouble. If the queen moves, the bishop drops. Rook a8. You can take, and then you take back. Rook down. Back to the game. After bishop d2, MVL trades rooks, rook takes, and now rook c8. Rooks come off. White plays king g2, showing the control he has in this position. Take a move, protect your h3 pawn. Bishop d8 played. Now what if knight c4, trying to get the knight back into the game? This knight has not moved since move 14. d7 is the problem. If queen c6, you can take on c4, and then the queen can take the a7 pawn. But even stronger here is queen d6. The best moves in chess are double attacks. You're threatening to promote, you are also attacking the bishop on f6. If you play bishop d8, queen takes e5. And now you could say queen takes e5 is also a double attack of a move, because bishop c3 and bishop h6 are both very strong threats. And I don't think you can stop both. It'll be checkmate soon. Back to the game. Bishop d8 was chosen. Bishop e4, queen e6, and queen d3, nice move, which we saw in the previous variation if MVL took on h3. King g7, bishop c3, queen f6, and after king f1, MVL resigned. Let's continue a few more moves to see why he resigned. One big reason is that he does not have any good moves. The knight has been there since move 14. It cannot get back in the game. The bishop does not have the ability to move to a good square. The queen can try and do something, like in this variation beginning with queen g5, but then the white king can just come to e2. Just be a little bit careful. No need to play queen d5, queen c1 check gives black some chances. Bishop e1, knight c4, there's no need for this. Controlling the position, king e2. If you play a move like queen e6, then f4, black is in big trouble. Bishop f6, you can take, and then d7, run it down the board. King e2, if bishop f6. Bishop d2 first, to stop black from having any ideas of coming into the white position. Bishop d2, and if queen h4, queen a6 is looking very strong. That all four, you can come into c8, support the d pawn. You don't have to play queen a6, maybe queen c3. The queen can come to c7. c8, support the d pawn once again. A fantastic crushing victory from Mamedyarov against MVL in the Riga Grand Prix final. MVL has to win his game tomorrow in order to create a tiebreak. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this game, then why not like the video and subscribe to the channel at the same time. Plus, check out all the other videos I know you'll love too. Until next time.